Very good afternoon to all of you, and special gratitude to Dr. Shankar and Dr. Premaji for giving this opportunity to be a part of this August gathering on such an auspicious occasion of Guru Purnima or Guru Full Moon. Normally, I start my talk with an invocation to that Guru Tattva or Guru Principle, and it has been like a blessing coming to this place called Ashirvad, that today I can do that on this, what better occasion than today to do that. So, Om Gurur Brahma Gurur Vishnu Gurur Devo Maheshwara Gurur Sakshat Parabrahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Why I feel inclined to this couplet specifically? Because to me it conveys the whole essence of the manifestation. That this whole process of evolution is not a fortuitous concurrence of atoms, as the modern science would have us believe, but instead, this whole process of evolution is being guided by an intelligent, beneficent, and compassionate principle. Why I say principle and not a being? Because in this couplet itself it says that it is Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh, or the Holy Trinity for that matter in every religion, which is the highest level of consciousness in the manifested world. But even beyond, the source from which this Trinity comes is Sakshat Parabrahman, is that Guru principle. That principle which we often name as Parabrahman, without attributes, that immutable principle without attributes, Nirgun, or without form, Nirakar, beyond thoughts, Achintya, which also is called by H.P. Blavatsky, one of the chief founders of Theosophical Society, as beingness. Not being, but beingness. And it is that beingness which is the hidden life in every atom, which is the hidden light in every creature, and it is the hidden love that is embracing all of us in oneness. And possibly that is why the nature, which is the manifested aspect of that principle, is trying to enlighten us all the time through our everyday life full of relationships. Relationships not only with humans, but also with animals, with plants, and with minerals, and even relationship with the invisible realm of that manifested world. And all that enlightenment is directed towards the evolution of consciousness, and that is why that principle is intelligent, beneficent, and compassionate. And maybe that is why J. Krishnamurti emphasizes so much on relationships. That relationships are the mirrors in which we can see ourselves. But it is up to us if we are ready to learn. If we are willing to be observant and aware enough to gather the pearls of wisdom from an interaction or experience, rather than carrying the stones of prejudice. Because the same experience can give a pearl of wisdom, and the same experience can give us a rock or stone of prejudice. it is up to us what we want to take away from it. And that gives us the idea maybe why Lord Dattatreya had 24 gurus. He was in such a state of learning that he learned something from these 24 agents of nature, ranging from the gigantic spheres that we name as the sun, the moon, the earth, and on the other hand, small creatures like moth, spider, beetle, or a bee. And why? Because all of them in some way uncovered in him some aspect of insight or understanding about the path of self-knowledge. And that is, I think, one of the main or significant meanings of the word guru, that comes from two. Gu means something that is hidden or dark, and ru means the removal or enlightening of that. So a guru is not merely a teacher which gives us some information, but rather who removes the veil of illusion that we are covered in and makes us realize who we really are. In that sense, Guru acts as a catalyst in the journey of an individual from being self-centered to realize itself as a center everywhere, circumference nowhere. Advaita. That there is no more duality. That is our true nature. And the best thing in this case of Dattatreya was that he was not even looking for a guru. He was just so in a state of learning, ready to observe fully that all these mundane things of daily life, we see sun rising, we see rains, we see insects, we see flowers blooming. He also saw all these things, but he was full of such an awareness and observation that it gave him this insight, and which is also the main essence of Krishnamurti's teaching. The relationships and motiveless observation. Because even if we have a motive behind the observation, it means there is an observer. But if we are just present in a moment without any motive, just being there, that situation reveals itself to us everything. And in that sense, I think a guru is a flame that inspires the disciple, inspires the spark in the disciple to become that flame. And since that spark and flame both is within each and every one of us, so the purpose of the guru, the real aim of the guru, which sometimes may sound even cruel, is to remove all the crutches and the supports that our ego tries to hold on to, and to remove all those crutches and makes us self-reliant. And that is what is the purpose of Theosophy has been, and that is what J. Krishnamurti too conveyed when he said that he wanted to set man or human unconditionally free, without any conditions, without any dependence on any external agency, including himself, so that we do not turn him into also an idol. Because I very often find myself saying it, that we see an ideal, we make an idol of it, and then we become idle. There is nothing wrong in making idol, as long as that idol is inspiring us to implement that ideal into our daily life. So free without any conditioning. And that is why I think a very famous and very interesting and yet profound statement goes that when the disciple is ready, the guru appears. But there is next line also, that when the disciple is really ready, the guru disappears. So coming back to theosophy, as Maria and Nancy has already pointed out, that self-reliance based on the spirit of inquiry and not blind belief in authority is one of the keynote of theosophical teachings, which is also the source of that principle of freedom of thought that is so religiously practiced and protected in the Theosophical Society even today. And that is one of the reasons, maybe I think, that after 150 years of age, the fountain of theosophy is still quenching the thirsts of sincere and serious seekers of truth without dogmas, which is a remarkable achievement for an organization where there is no guru. Because everyone in Theosophical Society is a student of theosophy, the ultimate guru being our Atma, Atmic principle, or the masters who have inspired the foundation of society. And there should be no surprise about this fact, because the Theosophical Society was founded to counter two of the biggest threats to the evolution of human consciousness, which were becoming stronger by leaps and bounds in the 19th century. And those two threats were degrading superstitions that crept in all religions, and still degrading brutal materialism. Because in the name, imagine those days that in the name of religion, all sorts of violence, discrimination, exploitation, superstitions, cruelty was justified. And those who were disillusioned with this kind of religion did not have any other avenue except to become or to incline towards materialism due to the uprising of modern science in those times, with their latest discoveries proving a lot of those superstitions of religions wrong. So either the people were completely superstitious majority, or they were becoming atheist or materialistic. So to put a stop to this momentum and to do some course correction, the Theosophical Society was founded as part of the spiritual intervention which is done in the last quarter of every century by those evolved beings whom we know as Siddha Sangha. The Sangha, the family from where came the Rishi Vedvyasa, from where came Lord Krishna, from where came Buddha, from where came Adi Shankara, from where came Maitreya or Jesus or Nanak, and innumerable others who keep coming from time to time, and as per the need of the hour, they give a new vision to the human consciousness and aid the evolution process as per the divine plan, and including J. Krishnamurti, latest of them. And this is not something I am telling something new. It has already been told by Lord Krishna in Bhagavad Gita when he says, Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharat apyuthanam adharmasya tadatmanam sajamyaham. So whenever there is a degradation in dharma and the adharma is uprising and becoming stronger, such kind of interventions take place from time to time. But there is an external and internal aspect to this shloka. The external is this, yes, that when situation arises, this kind of, either in the form of an individual or organization, some external intervention takes place in the form, but even these interventions are subject to the law of karma, because nature is bound by the law. So even that's why Lord Krishna couldn't save Abhimanyu, because that was as per part of the karma. But the inner aspect is more important for us here, maybe, that Krishna consciousness, that Christ consciousness, that Buddhic consciousness, that we use the word buddhi, taking birth in our minds to dispel the darkness and the source of evil. And the source of evil is that sense of separateness, I and the rest of the world. Again, Dvaita. And when that happens inside our being, when the Krishna has taken birth inside our being, then the outside automatically transforms. Because external is only a reflection of the inner. And the same thing J. Krishnamurti is trying again and again and again to tell us, to inspire us to leave everything and look within. To leave the scriptures, to leave the gods, to leave the rituals, to leave the traditions, to leave any authority and look within. Same thing Theosophy is telling us, when through its chief objective of universal brotherhood, to remove all the mind-made conditionings and take refuge in the buddhi, in the eyes of which there is only one life. The same thing Adi Shankara is telling when he says, Aham Brahmasmi, Tattvam Asi, Sarvam Khalvidam Brahma. And along the same lines, when J.K. says, I quote him, that authority is destructive, or freedom has no authority, gives us the understanding of J.K. being the latest proponent of the ageless wisdom, or Sanatan Dharma, in its purest form. That is, to realize that Brahman within. Because many times his teachings are seen going in contrast to Sanatan Dharma. But if we see in essence, there is no difference than what Krishna has taught or what Buddha has taught. And one of the most significant contributions of J. Krishnamurti for the seekers has been a couple of words which we know as choiceless awareness. And it is very, revolutionary to hear those words. And yet, it is similar to when Krishna talks about the witness consciousness in Bhagavad Gita. It is similar to what Buddha talks about when he is talking about Vipassana. It is similar to what Shankara talks about when he talks about Neti Neti or Shivoham. And very interestingly, I couldn't stop myself from sharing this, that something similar is said by Ashtavakra in Ashtavakra Gita, and I quote, he says, you alone are real. There is no one, not even God, separate from yourself. You are pure awareness, the witness of all things. The world is an illusion, nothing more. When you understand this fully, desire falls away, you find peace. And all of this, he says, can be perceived by Vijnana Matrena, means being aware fully in the present moment. And no surprise in guessing that J. Krishnamurti is also often given the name of modern Ashtavakra. So coming to end, everything in nature is conspiring to enlighten us towards the reality of this world and towards the reality of our true nature. But only if we keep our inner eyes open. And different individuals from time to time have appeared among us to wake us up from the deep slumber that we are in. And yes, such a person that we revere as Guru has the mission to wake up a sleeping person like us. So when that is the task they have, they will resort to any means which are appropriate in the times that they are appearing. And even those means can sometimes seem contradictory or opposing to the tradition and bring our mind to some perplexity. But HPB says that such are the traditional modes of teaching by provoking perplexity. Because at least a perplexed mind is a mind that is awake and is struggling and is trying to find the truth, as compared to a lazy or a dull mind or a mind that is asleep, which cannot even think for itself. So at least awake a person by saying something, it will start a churning in the mind. And that is why whenever any question is asked to J. Krishnamurti about Atma or Karma or rebirth, he just doesn't go in that direction. Because we are all so full of those theories that, we'll get entangled in that. And I think that is what the mission and vision of every Guru, including Theosophy and J. Krishnamurti, to inspire the effort in us for us to wake up, to make ourselves unconditionally free. Thank you.